This daf Yom Yerushalmi Shabbos, and the article Oz V'Hara edition. We're on daf Kuf Yud Amralf, the Mishnah Halacha Vav, which is the third line from the top, which in the Vilna is on Tzadik Amralf, the Mishnah about Halacha Vav. These are the strips of flesh which are impede the meal from being kosher. Basar Chofes Rov HaTorah, the flesh which surrounds the circumference of most of the crown of the organ. If he has that flesh is intact, then can't eat truma because he's an ora. If he's fleshy, and therefore it looks like he has this rim, this is the excess flesh, then even though he had a bris milah, he should fix it because it looks bad. If he did milah, the cutting of the foreskin without ripping the membrane underneath, then it's as if the milah was not performed. So it's Gemara. Which of these strips of flesh which impede the milah? Rabbi Yirmiyah said, it's not just when it's most of the circumference of that the atorah of the slope, the crown at the top of the organ, but even if it's the majority of the height, evidently that's to have flesh on the strip, on the slope, going from the base of the slope to the tip of the slope. The Korban Eda, Pnei Moshe, and also the Radal all say it should be Rov Gaga Shel HaTorah, when it covers most of the roof. That was, I guess, the top layer of the Torah. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chani Omer, B'chova Rov Gova HaTorah. He says that I'm sorry, just Rov Gova Shel HaTorah. The Korban Eda says, it's only if the it's only if that additional amount covers most of the tip of the Torah, not if it's most of the Gova in one location, one of the high location, but most of the Gag, most of the top level where I guess the foreskin was previously. Rabbi Tavi B'Shem Mishmuel said, the time to check the aver to see whether it's covered or not covered is when it is in an erect state. Okay, Movla Paras Mila Kilu Milomo. If it's a person had a Mila without Priya, it's as if he didn't have Mo. Tani V'Onush Kares. So he gets a Kares if he doesn't. I mean, if he didn't do the Priya. Now the Korban Eda is actually two pshatim here. The first shot is the Kares Lo Paras Mila Lishna Achrina. Onush Kores al Shechila as Hashabish Loasa Mitzah Chaburaso. It's when the person does the Bismillah, not on the person who got the Milah. The person who did the Bismillah, if he did only Milah on Shabbos and not Priya, so he didn't do the Mitzvah Milah. So therefore, his Mechal Shabbos is of course like any other Mechal Shabbos. So it sounds from the continuity of the Gemara that the Gemara is actually going with that second shot, because Rabbi B'Shem Avo said Hadad the Tamer B'Shem Bo Kedei Lamarik. That is if there's not enough time on Shabbos in order to complete the Priya. But if there is enough time, we have time. So then, even if you stop doing the Milah, if you realize afterwards, I didn't do the Priya, go back and finish it, and you're not, you should not be concerned that I stopped doing the Milah. Can I do the Priya? No, go back and finish it, even though it's Shabbos. Tani, it says kosher alish oisik b'mila chozer ben tzitzim akvin es hamila. This is really basically the same Gemara we had yesterday. And halacha daled is the previous halacha daled we had. It was going on weekday. questions whether here it's also weekday, maybe it's going on Shabbos. In any event, Tani Kosher Shosik Mila Zoyin about Mila Chosek Ben Tzitz Mak Minas Mila Ben El Tish En Mak Mila. As long as you're still involved, Mila, you go back both on Tzitz Mak Mila or Tzitz En Mak Mila. Piresh, if you stop already, Ein Chosek El Tzitz Mak Mila. Then you only go back on Tzitzim which are Ma'akev Esamila. Again, as I said, it's probably this was going back on going on Shabbos. And that's what the Korban says. If you even if you poresh, you go back. Going on Shabbos is a very big chiddush, but that would be what he's telling us. Even on Shabbos, you go back. The Pnei Moshe doesn't seem to distinguish between this and the previous Gemara. Korban perhaps does. Again, it's not clear if it's going to Shabbos or not. Hayden Rabbi Yossi, which Rabbi Yossi, he did Niyat Amar, we looked up there. Yes, when Yontav Rish Shachalios B'Shabbos, B'Shach Avos Yisrael B'Shus Rabin Potter Nesho Tzir B'Shus. So, like we said yesterday, if you took out the lulav on the first day of Sukkot, even though you already yaitze with it, we picked it up. Nevertheless, the mitzvah is continuous, and therefore you're motzi b'rshus, and therefore you're tobed bar mitzvah, and therefore you're potter. Apesakin shamila apamatzakin. So we say the same thing by sakin shamila and by matzah. The sakin shamila will be because the mila is an ongoing mitzvah, and also there's by matzah also. So we say also that the mila, in other words, there are other milos you can do that day. Matzah is more matzah you can eat that day. So are you potter as well? Because there's still possibly doing the mitzvah. That that which Rabbi Yochanan said, the Kohen Rabbi Yosef, even at Tzish Emakvis Shamila, if you perish Chayzer, Hadam Rabbi Sak Shamila, Abba Matzakain, so by Sak Shamila, there is a continuous mitzvah. Even after you did the main Mila, you can still go back and do the rest of it in order to fulfill Zakeh Mavelu. So again, according to the Korban Eilu, it's Rabbi on Shabbos, he says, Adam Ros Zazmel Yehuda Kogmar Mitzvah Potter Lea. So, sounds like at least perhaps it's only Potter, not Mutter. But at least it's potter. You can go, if you went back on Shabbos and finish the Zekeh Manveu part of the Bris Milah, so then that's the case, you are a potter because it's like you're still involved in the mitzvah itself of Bris Milah. Okay. Hajlach Perak Rabbi Eliezer. Okay, now in the next parak, we're going to go with the Mashbiach a lot at the beginning of the parak, because a lot of distortions here, which have to be clarified by the Mashbiach. Rabbi Eliezer, Mishmeres. So according to the Mashbiach, we're talking about a Mishmeres which was actually hanging there on Shabbos, and it's something with which you use in order to strain the dregs of wine. And you, I think Korban Eilu explains very nicely what it is. With you strain dregs of wine, and you extend its mouth on all sides in a round way. The Nasis Koel al Chalal Kli becomes like an oil on the cavity of the vessel. Evidently, it looks like a real oil, not just a covering of a keli. Sorry, the Rabbi Eliezer Sfirli Machshir Ochel Nefesh. It's because Rabbi Eliezer Machshir Ochel Nefesh, even making oil. Aval Pisha Efshar Lasas Mer Yontif, even though you can make it very Yontif. Doich you could done very Yontif. Doich and Yontif push up Yontif. But Shabbos ain't on Chatchila. Shabbos you can't hang it lechatchila. I mean, with tluya, if it's already hanging there, notice it's a shmari, you put inside the dregs, umasani, and strain them. Yidain derech borer bekach. That's not going to be derech borer, which, by the way, is the heter to make coffee on Shabbos for those that are meko to make coffee from grounds. It's not going to be derech borer, just pouring water through. It's not going to be borer. Chormim eitlis u'shes b'yontif. We're going to read the Korban Eilu. So emach shirin. The Machshir Ochel Nefesh ain't durch Yontif. Machshir Ochel Nefesh don't push up Yontif. Okay, then the ain't no sim clear by Shabbos. I'm not clear Yontif. He says by Shabbos it's not okay according to Chachamim because they'll derech boros bekach. But on Yontif, of course, it would be mutter because there's no Isser Bara on Yontif. Okay, so the I made a mistake by comparing the coffee because it's not true. My coffee, you're pouring water through. Here you're straining the dregs themselves. So my comparison to coffee was a mistake. Take it back. Scratch it. Delete it from the record. Okay, so again, let's say with the Mashbiach. The Mashbiach says this Mishmeres is already there from before Yontif or Shabbos, and you're stretching it to various different sides. Okay, and it even says the Tolin, it doesn't. It's there already. It wasn't there. It was part there from before Shabbos or Yontif. When it says Tolin, it's not to apply it, but it's to stretch it, to be Moseach it. And now the Gemara, according to the Mashbiach, and you can look at the Radal as well. He says the Gerson at the beginning of the Gemara is very distorted, and it should be like this. Reading the Gerson which the Mashbiach gives. Chachamim can see to Rabbi Eliezer. She'ein osin only b'tchil b'yontif. You can't make it all b'tchil yontif. Amma nechlaku. What's the machlokes? Amosifin. Shebelezim ein mosifin b'yontif, ve'ein tzarich lo b'Shabbos. That says you can't add on yontif, and of course you can't add on Shabbos. Chachamim mosifin b'Shabbos. Chachamim say you can add on Shabbos, ve'ein tzarich lo b'yontif, and it goes on saying it goes out on yontif as well. Then, so if that's the case, so the I can't read a road here a second. So if that's the case, it would seem it's difficult both according to Lezer and according to Chachamim, because Rabbi Lezer says Amos Sifim B'Yontif B'Yitzor Shabbos, and here he says Tonis Shabbos Yontif. So therefore, the Mashbiach explains that here is only allows you not to add on, but only to stretch it. So only stretching is not the same thing as adding. Okay, it's already there, and you're stretching in different directions. That's not the same thing as adding. And of course, on Shabbos, it wasn't matir do anything, just to put it in one which is already stretched, not to stretch at all. But the question according on Chachamim, okay? So Gemara says, "V'kol lo b'tosefes anan kayamin." That's in the Gemara itself. In other words, why here do we say that? Chachamim say you can't ain't l'zeshes b'yontif. They say that you're mosifin even b'Shabbos. So what's wrong over here? They say you can't do it on Yontif. What's the difference? So Rabbi Yovin Barkan said he put the Mishmeres Chadosh Shemachshir Lakol. We're talking about a new. Our Mishnah is not talking about Tosefes. It's talking about the initial stretching. This initial stretching, and therefore since the initial stretching, therefore it's not being Mosif. It's the first Mesicha, the first stretching it over this vessel. So therefore, Chachamim say that's no good. So it's more, whoa, if that's the case, if that's the case, Koshkim Mechav Shitos Rebbe Lezer. Now, so when we do have Rebbe Lezer, difficult all of a sudden. Ma'im Tamon, if over there, which means by us. Tamon means us. Shemachshir L'Kli, there's a first stretching. Amar Mutter, say it's okay, according to Rebbe Lezer, right? He says, so over there, we're just Moisif. How come, why is Rebbe Lezer being Machmir by being Mosif, right? Again, Matamani Machshir L'Kli, Mutter, Kanchi, any Machshir L'Kli, just Moisif. Lo Koshkin should certainly not be Mutter. So the Gemara asks, Atzar Let's go Rabbi Let's go Rabbi the time Share Rabbi Am Machshir Ochel Nefesh Shitiru. We know Rabbi Lez's Machshir Matter, even Machshir for other mitzvahs we had in previous broken, but certainly by Machshir Ochel Nefesh, they're Matter on Yontif. In other words, not sure why he specifically says it by Machshir Ochel Nefesh. I guess because Rabbi Lezer is matir, machshir mila, machshir mitzvahs, those are mitzvahs, not necessarily ochel nefesh. So that's like what it's saying. You also always machshir ochel nefesh, like Rabbi Yehuda is makel. So in any event, yeah, the brights which we brought them in the Gemara, which seems to be Tosefta and Sukkah, that's talking about just mosif and adding on to Noel, which is not machshir ochel nefesh. That's Rabbi Lezer's machmir. But here it's the machshir ochel nefesh, and that's why he's makel. Because you also could be a machshir, not just ochel nefesh, but machshir ochel nefesh are also permitted. Okay. Rabbi Yachab Shem Baruch said, "Kedivnei machshir Pasuk Chachamim who say you're allowed to be to stretch it on do the stretching on Shabbos. On no the not in Tluya, so going on the Mosifin on oil. So you can be Mosif on oil on Shabbos, like we said, like the Bryce has said, that but there's a condition, which is that ubilvad mil malon. Now the way Mashgiach has the girsa, it's uvilovad, and lashon lavud. In other words, it's already connected on top. In other words, like we say that you can be moist in oil as long as there's already a tefach there. So belovad means evidently there's something connected and stretched already on top, and that's what we would call that tefach. Even the Gira says ubilvad, it means the same thing. There's already some stretched on top. Ki'adab yimei Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi. Like there was a story like this in days of Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi. Hava riva. Now all unfortunately have very difficulty what the word riva means. They're very interesting, and I wrote here exotic perushim, I guess. I said, in my opinion, the simple pshat is it's a lashon revia. Revia is, we find several times in Shas, including in Tainis, Vav and Beis, means rain. So there was a via, but by Midrasha. It started raining, it started into the basement. The article says it means beds, like Kararavatskari, I guess they're lying down. But in any event, that's from the Korban Eda. Is because another pshat, but I think it's partial. It was raining at the base medrash. Vav person kila me'esma ba'arba amas, and there were already curtains stretched out, evidently like tarps, from before for arba amas. Machar person kula. The next day they spread them all out. So since they already spread out a bit, so therefore they were able to spread out more. I don't think the arba amas is specific, but necessarily there had to be. 4 amos? Yeah, well, maybe it does. We'll see in a moment. Some Midive Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi, they wanted to say from the words of on the basis of Rabbi Yehuda says that this mutter. Actually, the proper say some Midive Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi wanted to say they assumed that Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi was matter this. Because it said that this happens in the days of Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi. So he assumed that Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi is matter this because it was spread 4 amos, and therefore he allowed them to spread the rest of the way. Ashkechun they found, and the way the Mashbiach changed the next 2 words, it's delo, that it was not. Rather, umidas Rabbi Yehuda, in other words, delo, comma, umidas Rabbi Pazi, achifa suber, it has to be, you can only spread it out further if it's already spread most of the way. Then you can complete it. Da'at am is not enough. You need that, according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi's own opinion, you need to have it rove, and then you can extend the rest of the way. So here the article brings down from the Bavli and Erevin Daf Kub Beis Amrav, where we said before that here for the Yerushalmi it seems that not even for Amos is enough. And you can only be mostly for all right, because these are tarps and all right. You only mostly for all right if it's majority was covered before Shabbos. In the Gemara in Erevin, the Bavli and Erevin Kub Beis Amrav says you don't need Rove, you don't need Da'at. It seems that you'd be most all right as long as you had a tefach already in place before Shabbos. Okay, so this is Marachia B'Shem Yochid said hanotea. That sounds like planting, but I think it probably should say hanotea. Somebody who extends. Anotolim b'Shabbos, not that you're planting in the ground, but you're extending it. Anotolim b'Shabbos, you extend a Shabbos chayim b'shum boina. You chayim b'shum boina because you're building a tent, and he says no. Rabbi Zia ain't like a person mekapel b'Shabbos. It's not considered to be boina because it's only like extending and folding on Shabbos. In other words, you're not planting into the ground, just extending and the tent flap, putting the tent flap back. That's not considered to be bona. It's still building all right, but unless it meets a condition of rove, as we said before. So therefore, still it's a rabbanan, but it's not a doraisa, like Korban says. Rabbi Yossi, he asked, "Hain kilo dal arona mao." So the Korban says, "Hay paroch shel arona kodesh, man mirvasa b'Shabbos." So this is what about this the parochas? Can you close it once you open it? You open it even and then close it. Or may came the pusim me'as when that's kaposech v'no b'Shabbos. Yeah, it's like a door. Evidently, their parochas was on top of the box, which is on kodesh. and can you extend it and close it? Yes, it's just like opening and closing a door. Okay, says Gemara, Rabbi Zira Barashi Shem Shmuel said Hamishamer. So the I made the mistake in the Mishnah. I said you're putting it's like the coffee because you're putting water on the grounds. No. So Hamishamer, like the Korbanei Moshe says here, the Korbanei says here, Shnosi Shmarim L'Kli V'Sinanon. You put dregs into the Mishmeres on Shabbos Yechai Mishum Borer. So Rabbi Zira said, let me start by El Mishum Market. He says, I don't think it's Borer, I think it's Market. It's more similar to the sifting of the sifting of flour, which is called Market. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yonah, Yaus. That initially we said that you said good, it's because of Market. Rabbi Zira said, Ma Meraki kemach lematim sos lemalan, just like when you do meraki, so the kemach falls down, the fine particles fall down, and so less the coarser particles remain on top. After mishamer yayin, so too mishamer is the same thing. The mishamer yayin lamata, the wine goes down, so it's to be the fine particles. Shmarim lamala, and the shmarim go on top, stay on top. So it's like market where where the finer particles go down and the thicker particles stay on top. Now the article changes the gears to base of Pnei Moshe here to say, Mom, change gears again. He says instead of says the kemach is the malin and the solus is the matan, but we're going to go with the gears which are in front of us, which I think is similar to the Bavli. That the solus is you want the solus. It's on top. You don't want the kemach. It's too fine a flour. It falls to the bottom. But both cases, the thicker thing is remaining on top and the thinner thing on the bottom. So therefore, we assume Meraki is saying is Meshamer. So it's more of loving, klum. It's not the same thing. On the contrary, because by Meshamer, you want the wine, which is coming out. And that's like Borer, where you want the product which is coming out. So and it's got to be like Borer, not Market, says Gemara. Why is that? Because love I mean klum. We didn't say anything. We made a comparison. Lama shehutar. It's mutter to do Meshamer on Yontif mikal breira. Because it's well, Shuta Yontif. Yontif is mutter mikal breira, mutter mikal shimur. You're allowed to breira and shimur on Yontif. You're not allowed to Meraki. The Chazal asked you doing Meraki on Yontif. They said you did beforehand. They only were mati, but they were mati bora and they were mati shimur. Huta mikal breira bora kedaka b'cheko v'tamchui. It's mutter mikal breira. They can be bora normally with a cheko in your lap. A tamchui with a pot. Huta mikal shimur. No seems to be Yontif. You can put in the mishmeres and Yontif like we said before. But the low tar mikal koda. Yontif was not mutter in terms of koda. And the Gemara says the Mara Bichanina broka b'shem Rabbi Yehuda ain shonim as a kemach. You can't do the shonim evidently is a second type of harkoda. If they wanted, he did it even the day before. He can't do it a second time yontif. Amrakim lacharei napa, but he can do it as shinui. Somehow use the back of the sieve in order to do it. In time mishum raki, because I say mishamar is meraki, it should be also. Must be its bora. But that which he asked for our cutter, I mean, the low Rabbi Yehuda, it's not like Rabbi Yehuda. The time of Rabbi Yehuda, I'm Machshir Ochel Never Shetiru. In Machshir Ochel Never Shetiru, done before Yontif, they were Mati on Yontif, so everybody could be Mutak on Rabbi Yehuda. Boida Milsa. So the Malushanas came out Chachrei and Apakrabaran. Let's see the Korban will make it easier. Boilam Milsa, Hami Boilam, Malshi Muta Shanas Kemach, Q the second Arkoda, Achori Napa with the back of the Siva Korban and Pli Rabbi Yehuda. The whole thing is mutter. The Hakalashmi Meach Braisa of the Arkoda Shai Achori Napa. You only heard that one Arkoda is Muta Achori Napa. Ba'avo miboy alone mutal shanos. We allowed to do the second one. Ayde shinui came and shebot kolkach. Or did Chazal say, you know what? Or hakara is also on Yontif, even that even I shouldn't say hakara. The hakara shnia is also even ayde shinui because it's not essential. Hakara rishona, if you didn't do it, will be mate de shinui, not hakara shnia. Okay, and the Quran, of course, does not give a resolution, and that's it for today.